All right. So yesterday we touched on a few things, and I wanted to just say this: anytime a person believes, or human beings believe, they are on the side of the angels, uh, doing the devil's bidding doesn't seem that bad, or perhaps they are fooled into doing the devil's bidding. And yesterday we touched on two subjects that I brought up and that I continue to bring up, which is due process. And I said, anytime there is punitive action, uh, due process uh, should happen whenever possible. I should say this: whenever possible, whenever there's punitive action, due process should happen whenever humanly possible. And I think, and I'll have to talk with Joe first. Uh, a court of public opinion, like a place where people are heard uh, who've had punitive action taken against them, and just if people can stand up to some of these cancel culture mobs. I don't think they're that large, but they do not believe in due process, and they do not believe in discussion. And the other thing that was brought up is profit versus ideology. And I would say ideology and ego are big factors in many people's politics and movements today. And that is an issue. And by the way, these people do not want to listen. They don't want to hear you out, which is kind of a being a due process is a hearing, and it's basically listening to what you have to say, even if you don't agree with it. Listening to what a person has to say and giving them a chance before punishment. And this is happening in a lot of interpersonal relationships, as well as economic relationships. A person will do something or post something online, and the mob will interpret it, and they will basically try to get that person fired, even debanked, and hurt in other ways. This seems to be happening on somewhat of a large scale, and other problems are nuanced, but the other, when they're against you, it's a black and white situation. I remember I was on Facebook, and she was railing against the Proud Boys. This person was from England. I mean, she was an American citizen, but she's originally from England. And I asked her about the grooming gangs, the Muslim grooming gangs in Rotherham, and she said the problem was nuanced. And couldn't the problem with the Proud Boys also be a nuanced problem? And I'm not saying 100% tile right or wrong. I'm just saying that problems sometimes are more complex than we tend to think, and there's a lot of black and white thinking as of now. And again, my main point for last night's show was that ego and ideology often trump profit, and there are the people who are afraid of this new ideology, and they fall in line. So I think it's three things that are motivating this thing. Number one is fear of these people, and number two, with regards to, okay, the people who are doing this are motivated by are motivated by ideology and ego, and the people who are basically giving into them are motivated by fear. So I would say the three things: ideology, ego, and they rule with fear. And they have given basically the fear of punishment, because they are a very punitive group. And this the types of punitive action they give, people are not given any kind of due process, any kind of hearing. And one of the things, again, like I'd like to have in Transparency and Merit, that those who have been canceled at least have some form of due process where they are completely heard. Because when you hurt someone economically and also socially, you're doing a disservice. And these people are not about forgiveness and coming together. They seem to be a lot about punishment. And is that the kind of society that we want to have? Do we want to have a group of people who punish and there's no there's no point of redemption. There's no act of contrition. It's all about punishment. There seems to be original sin, and there seems to be punishment with a lot of these groups, and they seem to have taken over the establishment. I'm going to go further into this later on. I think Bannon is set to testify, and I'm going to probably do a show on that. But my main point is this: I do believe, and yesterday people thought it was, that it's profit. Are there some hidden design that people have that make people do certain things, and it's all a plan to have us fighting one another? I don't agree with that at all. I don't see that. Again, I believe ideology and ego are big plays here, and they seem to have taken over the Western world. Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Also, please share. You know what? If you gain anything from it, please share the video. Thank you.